The way you see your life may never be the same again. Right now, it might seem as though everything is falling apart. You may feel as though you've been left behind, while everyone else moves ahead. Perhaps you've been working tirelessly without recognition, wondering why nothing seems to change. But what if the reality is completely different from what your eyes are showing you? What if, in this very moment, every unseen event is quietly arranging itself in your favor? Nothing is happening by chance. Nothing is working against you. Beneath the surface, an invisible power is constantly at work. It is organizing people, circumstances, opportunities, and outcomes that you cannot yet perceive. Doors are opening before you even know they exist. Paths are forming long before you arrive at them. Possibilities you once believed were impossible are already beginning to take shape. Most people never recognize this because they judge life too quickly. They only believe what they can immediately see, forgetting that every visible result begins in an invisible place. So before you convince yourself that nothing is changing, before you surrender to disappointment, pause and listen carefully. There is a principle operating in your life every single moment, whether you realize it or not. It quietly influences every experience, every relationship, every opportunity, and every circumstance you encounter. The world outside you is not creating your reality. It is reflecting it. Your circumstances are not random events happening independently of you. They are mirrors faithfully expressing the beliefs, assumptions, emotions, and identities you have consistently accepted within yourself. At first, this idea may seem difficult to accept because most of us were taught the exact opposite. We were conditioned to believe that life happens to us, that external conditions determine our emotions, our confidence, and our future. But the deeper truth is far more liberating. Your inner world is the blueprint from which your outer experience is formed. Think about the quiet conversations you have with yourself every day. Every expectation you carry, every assumption you make, every belief about who you are and what life has in store for you possesses creative power. When you repeatedly tell yourself, "Nothing ever works out for me," or "I, always one step behind," you are doing much more than describing your circumstances. You are strengthening the identity that produces those very experiences. Life faithfully reflects back the story you continue to believe. It isn't punishing you. It isn't opposing you. It is responding to the version of yourself you have accepted as true. Now imagine choosing a different assumption. Imagine waking each morning believing that life is working in your favor. Imagine expecting opportunities to appear naturally, believing that the right people are finding you, trusting that every apparent delay is quietly preparing something greater. As these assumptions become your normal way of thinking, your external reality gradually begins to mirror them. This is why genuine transformation never begins with endless effort alone. It begins within. Many people exhaust themselves trying to force change through action while secretly holding onto beliefs rooted in fear, limitation, and doubt. They work harder, push longer, and struggle more, yet continue producing similar results because the inner pattern remains unchanged. When your inner state changes first, your actions no longer feel forced. They become natural expressions of who you believe yourself to be. Instead of chasing success, you begin living as the person who naturally experiences it. Instead of pursuing abundance, you embody the consciousness of abundance. Instead of desperately searching for love, peace, confidence, or fulfillment, you become someone who already possesses those qualities, and life begins responding accordingly. This transformation requires one essential quality: awareness. Pay close attention to the thoughts you repeat most often. What assumptions have become automatic? What story do you tell yourself whenever something doesn't unfold the way you expected? Do you immediately assume failure? Do you expect rejection? Do you prepare yourself for disappointment before anything has even happened? Or do you choose trust? Because every fearful reaction strengthens the old reflection. Every moment of genuine faith begins creating a new one. Faith is not pretending problems don't exist. It is choosing a higher assumption despite temporary appearances. One of the greatest mistakes people make is expecting instant physical evidence. The outer world often takes time to reorganize itself. There is usually a period when your previous assumptions are still visible, even though your new state has already been established within. This waiting period causes many people to lose confidence. They look around, see familiar circumstances, and conclude that nothing has changed. Then they return to the very beliefs they were trying to leave behind. By doing so, they interrupt the process before the new reflection has the opportunity to fully appear. But when you truly understand that reality reflects consciousness, temporary appearances lose their power over you. You stop allowing visible conditions to dictate your fate. Instead, you remain committed to your new identity, knowing that the outer world must eventually align with the inner transformation. You are not powerless before circumstances. You are their source. This realization is not meant to burden you with guilt. It is meant to awaken your freedom. Because if your inner assumptions participated in creating your present experience, then changing those assumptions also changes your future. You do not have to control every event. You do not need to manipulate people. You do not have to force life into cooperating. Your responsibility is much simpler. Take ownership of your inner world. Choose a different identity. See yourself as supported. Expect life to cooperate. Trust that unseen forces are arranging everything perfectly, even when your senses cannot yet confirm it. The moment your inner state changes, a new reflection has already begun. It may not appear immediately, but it has already been set into motion. With patience, consistency, and quiet confidence, your outer world will eventually reveal the transformation that first occurred within you. One truth separates those who genuinely transform their lives from those who endlessly repeat the same disappointments. That truth is persistence in belief. This is the secret. Not temporary enthusiasm, not occasional optimism, not believing only when circumstances are favorable. True creative power comes from remaining loyal to your chosen assumption regardless of what dares before your eyes. Most people believe for a few days, then immediately measure reality by visible results. When those results don't appear quickly enough, doubt replaces faith, and doubt quietly restores the old pattern they hope to escape. But the individual who persists always experiences something different. They continually return to the same empowering assumption. They refuse to abandon their new identity simply because appearances have not yet caught up. Their belief grows stronger precisely during the moments when holding on to it feels most difficult. When nothing seems to be changing, when delays arise, when old habits attempt to return, that is the moment persistence becomes your greatest strength. Because now you are no longer merely hoping life will improve. You are consciously choosing the reality you wish to experience. You are declaring that your inner conviction carries greater authority than temporary, external evidence. Understand this deeply. Your outer world will often seem to challenge your belief, not because it is trying to stop you, but because every challenge is inviting you to remain faithful to the new version of yourself until it becomes your permanent reality. There comes a moment when life seems to test everything you've decided to believe. Situations may arise that appear to contradict your vision. Circumstances may unfold in ways that seem completely opposite to what you've been affirming. You may find yourself facing the very fears, limitations, or disappointments you thought you had already left behind. When those moments arrive, you are presented with a choice. You can react the way you always have, allowing old assumptions to take control once again, or you can remain centered, calm, and loyal to the new state you have consciously chosen. That single decision separates those who truly transform their lives from those who continue repeating the same experiences. Persistence does not mean forcing yourself to feel inspired every moment of every day. It doesn't require constant excitement or endless positivity. True persistence is much quieter than that. It is the willingness to return to your chosen belief whenever your mind begins to wander back toward fear. It is gently guiding your attention away from doubt without criticizing yourself for having it. It is remembering, again and again, who you have decided to become. There will be days when uncertainty appears. There will be moments when your confidence feels weaker than usual. You may even question whether anything is changing at all. But persistence means you refuse to build a home in those moments. Instead, you calmly return to your new assumption each time your thoughts drift away from it. Over time, this becomes easier. Think of belief as a trail through a forest. The first time you walk it, the path feels unfamiliar. You hesitate, second-guess yourself, and wonder if you're heading in the right direction. But every time you return, the trail becomes clearer. Eventually, what once felt strange becomes completely natural. The new path becomes the one you automatically follow. The same thing happens with your inner beliefs. At first, your new assumptions may feel unnatural, because you've spent years identifying with a different story. Yet each time you consciously choose the new belief, you strengthen it. Eventually, you no longer need to convince yourself. You simply know. At that point, your external world cannot continue reflecting the old identity because you no longer live from it. You are no longer attempting to believe. You have become someone who genuinely believes. This is why consistency always carries greater power than emotional intensity. One extraordinary moment of confidence followed by weeks of fear cannot produce lasting transformation. What creates change is the quiet certainty you carry every day. It appears in your thoughts. It shapes your reactions. It influences how you interpret setbacks. It determines what you expect before anything happens. Even when visible evidence has not yet arrived, you continue thinking from your desired reality instead of toward it. This is where countless people unknowingly stop their own progress. They expect immediate proof. They believe that if something is truly working, results should appear almost instantly. But lasting transformation rarely begins where your eyes can see it. It begins beneath the surface. A seed spends time developing an invisible root system before anyone witnesses a single leaf. During that hidden stage, tremendous growth is taking place. If someone dug the seed out every day just to check whether it was growing, they would interrupt the very process they were hoping to witness. The same principle applies to your inner transformation. Every time you allow doubt to uproot your new assumption, you slow the unfolding of what was already beginning to develop. That is why trust is so essential. Not blind optimism, not wishful thinking, but an informed confidence that understands how creation unfolds. Persistence in belief is never wasted energy. It is the very process through which your new reality takes form. Each time you choose faith instead of fear, you strengthen a different future. Each time you refuse to repeat the old story, you loosen its influence over your life. Every moment you remain faithful to your chosen identity, you move one step closer to seeing it reflected around you. So remain patient. Stay committed during the quiet seasons. Continue believing even when progress feels invisible, even when everything appears unchanged, even when answers seem delayed, even when your senses insist that nothing is happening. Remember that unseen movement often comes before visible results. The person who remains faithful during that invisible season is the one who eventually witnesses the breakthrough. There is another profound realization that changes everything once you truly understand it. Your present circumstances are not permanent truths. They are temporary reflections. Although they appear solid, although they may seem convincing, although they sometimes feel impossible to overcome, they are simply the visible expression of thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs you repeatedly accepted in the past. They are echoes of yesterday's consciousness. Because they belong to the past, they possess no authority over your future unless you continue giving them power through your attention. Many people unknowingly imprison themselves by treating present conditions as permanent facts. They look at their current situation and assume it defines what tomorrow will bring. If success hasn't arrived, they conclude it never will. If healing hasn't happened yet, they believe it isn't possible. If opportunities haven't appeared, they assume there are none waiting for them. Without realizing it, they allow an old reflection to determine a brand new future. But reality doesn't work that way. Circumstances are never frozen. They are constantly changing, continuously adjusting, always responding to the inner state you consistently occupy. Imagine standing before a mirror. If you dislike the image staring back at you, you don't waste time arguing with the reflection. You don't polish the glass or demand that the mirror produce a different picture. You understand that the only way the reflection changes is by changing yourself first. The mirror has no choice but to display whatever stands before it. Life operates through the same principle. The outer world faithfully reflects the identity you embody within. When your assumptions change, when your self-concept evolves, When your inner conversations begin telling a different story, your circumstances must eventually reorganize themselves to match the person you have become. The reflection cannot remain the same after the one standing before it has changed. Your life follows the very same principle. Everything you experience on the outside is simply reflecting what has already been accepted in your inner world. That is why trying to battle circumstances directly rarely creates lasting change. When you respond to your current situation with fear, frustration, or doubt, you unknowingly strengthen the very conditions you wish to leave behind. This is why your present circumstances should never be given the power to define you. They are not the cause. They are the result. They are not creating your future. They are revealing the beliefs that have already been active within you. The moment you truly understand this, something begins to shift. You stop reacting impulsively to every setback. You stop allowing temporary appearances to determine how you feel or what you believe. Instead, you begin observing your circumstances from an entirely different perspective. You recognize them as echoes of an older version of yourself, a version you no longer need to identify with. There will certainly be moments when everything around you seems to contradict the life you are choosing to believe in. You may catch yourself wondering, if everything is truly working in my favor, why does it still look like this? That question is natural, but it is also the exact moment your awareness must become stronger. What you are witnessing is not evidence that your faith has failed. It is simply the remaining expression of an old state that has not yet completely disappeared. An inner transformation always happens before the outer world fully reflects it. The external picture does not update the instant your beliefs change. There is often a season where the old reflection remains visible while the new one quietly develops beneath the surface. Unfortunately, this is where many people abandon the process. They mistake the lingering image for permanent reality. They lose confidence. They return to familiar doubts. And by returning to those old assumptions, they continue recreating what they hope to leave behind. But if you remain steady, if you refuse to let temporary appearances control your inner state, something remarkable begins to unfold. Old situations gradually lose their influence. New opportunities quietly begin appearing. Unexpected solutions emerge. Relationships shift. Doors open. Not because you forced life to change, but because you stopped feeding energy into the reality that was already fading away. Learn to see your circumstances as passing scenes instead of permanent conclusions. Think of them as clouds moving across the sky. Sometimes they appear heavy enough to hide the sunlight, yet no cloud has ever possessed the power to extinguish the sun itself. Your inner state is that sun. It remains constant beneath every passing condition. It continues creating regardless of what temporary appearances suggest. And when you stay connected to that inner certainty, every cloud eventually moves on. So whenever discouraging circumstances appear again, gently remind yourself, this is not the final chapter. This is not ultimate truth. This is only a temporary shadow passing through my experience. Refuse to react in ways that strengthen what is already dissolving. Do not return to the old story. Remain loyal to the reality you have consciously chosen. Because the moment you stop giving power to temporary shadows, they begin losing their hold over your life. And little by little, the reality you have been cultivating within starts becoming visible all around you. There is another truth that appears almost too simple for the logical mind to accept. Everything you desire is already complete. It does not need to be created. It is not waiting somewhere far ahead in the future, nor does it depend upon perfect circumstances arriving first. It already exists. The life you dream about, the abundance you seek, the peace you long for, the success you imagine, they already exist as living possibilities available to you now. The only thing separating you from them is not luck. It is not time. It is not endless effort. It is alignment. Most people spend their lives believing they must force reality into existence. They chase opportunities. They struggle to control outcomes. They believe fulfillment exists somewhere ahead of them, always one more achievement away. But this mindset quietly reinforces one damaging belief. I don't have it yet. The harder you chase from that state, the more you convince yourself that your desire remains outside your reach. And life faithfully mirrors that assumption. Everything changes the moment you realize your desired reality already exists. You stop trying to obtain something missing. Instead, you begin aligning yourself with something that is already present. You move away from struggle and into embodiment, away from chasing and into acceptance, away from hoping and into quiet certainty. Imagine for a moment that every possible version of your life already exists. There is already a version of you who has achieved every meaningful goal, a version who lives with abundance, a version who experiences deep peace, a version who naturally attracts opportunities, meaningful relationships, and lasting fulfillment. That version is not separate from you. It is simply another state of consciousness available for you to occupy. Your task is not to manufacture that version. Your task is to become it. You do that by accepting its reality within yourself. This is where imagination becomes one of the greatest creative powers you possess. When you repeatedly imagine your desire as already fulfilled, when you emotionally experience it as real, when you begin identifying with that fulfilled version of yourself, you are not escaping reality. You are aligning yourself with a reality that already exists. As you continue returning to that inner experience, your external world gradually reorganizes itself to reflect it. This understanding also transforms your relationship with time. The mind naturally thinks in terms of waiting. It constantly asks, when will it happen? But once you realize everything is already complete, waiting begins to disappear. Instead of postponing fulfillment, you accept it now. You claim it inwardly. You live from it rather than reaching toward it. Not with arrogance, not with denial, but with quiet confidence. This does not require ignoring your present circumstances. It simply means refusing to let them become your final authority. You may still notice situations that seem inconsistent with your vision, but you no longer identify yourself through them. You recognize them as the fading remnants of an older state that is losing its influence. Your attention shifts away from what appears absent and toward what is already fulfilled within you. This is where genuine transformation begins, because the moment you fully accept your desire as already accomplished internally, everything about you begins to change. Your thinking changes. Your emotional responses change. Your decisions become different. Your expectations naturally rise. You begin making choices from the perspective of someone who already possesses what they desire, rather than someone still trying to obtain it. Without effort, your actions begin matching that new identity, and life responds accordingly. There is an incredible sense of peace that comes with this understanding. You stop living with anxiety. You release desperation. You no longer feel compelled to force every outcome. Instead, you trust. You allow. You remain steady, because you know that whatever has been fully accepted within your consciousness must eventually express itself in the world around you. So stop living as though your future still needs to be created. Stop striving as though fulfillment exists somewhere outside of you. Recognize that what you seek already exists. Step into that reality now. Feel it. Accept it. Live from it every single day. Because the moment you genuinely embrace your desire as already yours, the process of its visible manifestation begins. And what once seemed distant slowly becomes the life you naturally experience. Welcome to Neville Goddard Wisdom. If you'd like, continue rewriting the remaining script in the same style, length, and tone. The moment you choose a new belief and commit to a greater vision, change begins beneath the surface long before you can see it. The biggest obstacle isn't failure, it's persistent doubt. Not a passing thought, but the habit of believing fear over your chosen truth. Many people give up because they expect immediate results. When nothing changes externally, they assume nothing is happening. Yet real transformation always starts within. During this unseen phase, doubt urges you to return to old thinking, recreating the same life you wanted to leave behind. You don't need to eliminate every doubtful thought. Simply refuse to let doubt lead you. Keep returning to your chosen belief until it feels more natural than your old story. Stay steady even when results aren't visible. Your outer world reflects your inner state with time. Protect your vision, trust the process, and remain loyal to the person you've decided to become.